So Crimson Desert has been out for a few days now, and I have to say it's been one of the weirdest launches for a video game because it feels like the fan base, the gamers, there's a lot of people that are split down the middle with the launch of this game. Now, there was obviously a lot of expectations when it came to this game with all of these features and the open world that they were promising, and I feel like partly they have delivered with this game, and in some other aspects I feel like they haven't, and there might be some reasons why, which is very, very weird, from developers talking about the making of this game, especially something to do with the story, which we're going to come to. But overall, it looks like it's doing very, very well. And even though I'm loving this game, I strongly recommend that you might wait a few months. If you enjoy these latest gaming news videos, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We're trying to make it full time, and here we go. So as I said, the expectations were so high with this game, with everything that it was promising, and now it's finally in my hands. Oh my gosh, I am absolutely loving this game so much. It's just, the open world is absolutely incredible. I'm playing on the PS5 Pro, so that is my perspective of the game. The graphics are really freaking nice. Yes, there's a lot of kind of popping. I haven't really seen any other problems apart from a few game breaking bugs, which we're gonna come to. But overall, oh my gosh, I'm over 12-13 hours in, and I'm just on chapter 3. I'm going to spend a lot more time in the open world and just explore. Talking about the positives of Crimson Desert, my gosh, it is started off very, very positive, because already this game has sold 2 million copies, and this was on Friday. So I reckon by the end of the week, this is probably going to hit 3 million or even 4 million. But alongside that, there are quite a few bugs in the game, which credits where credits due is that Pearl Abyss have been very, very open with what they are saying, because they said they're going to be patching, and they've already, as of this video, sent a patch that rectified one of the biggest problems I had literally yesterday playing the game. But as you can see here, it sold over 2 million copies sold, which is absolutely unbelievable. But what they also said is that we listen closely to the wide range of feedback shared by the community and work to make improvements quickly, doing our utmost to make the journey ahead even more enjoyable for our players. So I've heard as well that the base PS5 does look rough, and the best way to play it is fidelity mode, because they say that the performance mode, it brings down the graphics so much more, and you're better off literally playing at 30 FPS in quality mode. Now, as of this video, there is a lot of people playing this game, and it seems to keep rising. Got an all-time peak of 248,000, and still right now 205,000 players are still playing. It's now got a mostly positive review. This was, I believe, at mixed, and it's mainly because of all of the controls, and that's the thing that people are saying that are playing on PC. The controls on the PC is just really, really bad. And they did say here, since launch, we've been listening closely to our feedback and doing our best to make improvements. In particular, we're aware of discomfort many players have experienced with the controls, and we are currently preparing a patch to address this. We want to apologize for not providing keyboard and mouse players with a satisfactory gameplay experience. So the studio did say that they're working very seriously and working to improve the gameplay experience for people on PC. So I'm speaking from playing on PS5 Pro, and I have to say the controls are very responsive. Yes, they feel a little bit weird, especially with the menus, a little bit of the buttons where I'm trying to like pick things up or search things, or even like changing my swords. I am finding it a little bit difficult, but I think it's one of those where as I'm getting it, it's becoming much more fluid. But I've had no problems with the controls. Yes, I do think they could be better, but in my head, I'm like, yeah, they're good enough, and I'm learning. And with all that said, I did have a problem the other day, and this is why I would probably say, if you're thinking about this game, and we've spoken on stream, I've done a couple of streams on it on the main channel, is that I hate a game that is buggy. I hate a game that when it gets released, the experience is dampened by bugs. And what's crazy is that in the first area, I literally had no bugs in the first stream we did, but then I stole some gold, and as I came out the window, went onto the map, it would freeze. And it did that about 4 times in a row, and it pissed me off because I had to keep doing that same mission. And then all of a sudden there was a woman in there, so I couldn't actually steal the gold. And that really pissed me off. And that's, for me, I'll always be honest when I review games, and this is going to be a long time till I get a review. I will be doing a first impressions on the main channel in the next couple of days. But it really pissed me off that they were just these game-breaking bugs that were freezing the game, and I had to come out of it. On stream, people were like, it's been fixed already. So it's crazy how quick they are being with these patches, because the jump-in, movement, and attacks are way more responsive. This is obviously on the PS5, but Crimson Desert PS5 patches fixes crashes and controls. And they've also added a 120 hertz option, which I didn't realize till I played today. Crimson Desert has released in quick succession the PS5 some critical areas in the open world. Perlabase promised that it would respond to feedback regarding the release of uncomfortable controls. It's also said about the AI, which we're going to come to. The company has released a new patch which then changes the control scheme and resolves various bugs and issues. And here's a list of the quests and the content that they've actually improved. They've improved quite a hell of a lot on here. My gosh, there is absolutely loads. There were some people having problems with some of the main quests. I had no problems in terms of that. Even the graphics and settings, so they've added that 120 hertz mode, which I saw, which the game does look even better. And for me, I was having problems with the dark blacks playing on an OLED screen. I was on ChatGPT trying to figure this out, but it feels like it's been fixed. I don't know why, but it just feels like it has been fixed. But this is the one issue that pissed me off. Fixed an issue where the game would occasionally crash when opening the map menu. And I refrained from doing it for about 15 minutes. And then it kind of stopped crashing. But they've actually fixed that one issue that I experienced yesterday. But as you can see, they have literally changed and updated this very, very quickly, which is very, very amazing, because you feel like if it's Ubisoft, they'll wait a month till they get that first patch out. So it's crazy that they've already done this, which is good. So one other thing that they have apologized for, and I think, listen, even though I love the game, they should have disclosed that they were using AI in the game. And this was for some art assets in the game, which I actually didn't notice. As you can see here, they said we should have clearly disclosed our use of AI. Crimson Desert developers sincerely apologize for including AI art in the PS5 game. I don't know if that's on the PC as well. I don't realize. Maybe not. But it has been shown generative AI assets were discovered in the enormous PS5 open world game, explaining that the use of technology helped to explore tone and atmosphere, but intended to replace them with art created in-house. However, as discovered in Reddit, several assets have been found in the final game which were clearly made by AI. And then they did include this statement below, which is a very long apology. We are currently conducting a comprehensive audit of all our game assets and taking the steps to replace them. It is mad because, listen, with everything going on with AI taking jobs, look at the flipping art style on that. You can look, that looks absolutely terrible. I feel like they're probably saying it's just because they got caught. If they didn't, most probably they would not be saying this, but it's good that they are going to fix this and actually put some art that doesn't look like crap in the game. For me, I can understand as well because of how big this game was, and we're going to get to some of the problems they had in development, but they are going to bring out a patch at a later date and to improve the game's and this was obviously before they got that patch with the uncomfortable controls as quickly as possible. I don't think it's that much of a bigger deal. It's like when Claire Experience Expedition, some of the posters were made by AI. This is kind of it. Is there other things in the game that are made by AI? I don't know. Maybe. Would they have said? I don't know, but it's good to know that they're doing that. But yeah, they should really disclose if they're going to be using AI, because that's just freaking annoying. But it just makes you think that it's clearly with this game, it needed more time. But the problem is when you have investors, it's really freaking annoying, to be honest. And if you see here, obviously, I don't really look at stocks and stuff because everyone's stock has gone down, but you can see that the stock for Pearl Abyss has actually gone down. This is probably down to the fact that they thought that in Metacritic it was going to get like incredible scores. Like looking at the reception, I think there's a lot of positivity. I love that this is a harder game. I love that this game is very slow and you have to explore, but investors just show that they don't know what they're doing, because all these big games that come out, they need more freaking time. Like you even look at Rockstar's stock, it's even gone down as well. Like ever since Google announced their AI, I've forgotten the name, where you could literally create games and create worlds, everyone's stock in the gaming industry basically went down. But I don't really look at this. These developers or these investors they just ruin games, to be honest. This is what, like, investors, they invest their money. They don't think of like from a gamer's point of view or from a point of view where your audience is the people that help contribute to your game. And the fact that I'm loving it that much, obviously I can give it more leeway with some of these bugs, but now that they've fixed that one, I'm good. I want to carry on playing. But no doubt that this game in 6 months is going to be a better game because of those patches coming. And that's why I probably recommend, if you're on the fence of this, you're better off waiting if you can wait. Me, I was so excited to play. It's playable. I'm having a great time on the PS5 Pro. I can't talk about it on the base PS5, but for me, I'm absolutely loving my time with this game. I've just spent so much time fishing, mining, just exploring caves, found, I've got a damn white horse literally today, this legendary horse, now it's my mount, and it's just an unbelievable game. What's crazy is that we have got some insight as well in the making of this game. It's not all like positivity. It really isn't, because you can then understand with the story. And that's the only thing I would say at the start of the game is it's very confusing. You die and then you come back to life. And then all of a sudden you're thrown into the open world. Cliff doesn't have any really reaction of what's going on and why he's been revived. He goes into the abyss. All of a sudden he goes back to the open world, and then you're like, okay, go arm wrestle someone. We have got more insight from developers that supposedly they leaked this workplace was quite toxic, and it led to a disjointed story and the clunky controls. So we have to give this a read. So some Pearl Abyss developers reportedly recognized shortcomings in the Crimson Desert story. However, leadership dismissed these concerns and resisted any pushback. And this is what I don't understand when it comes to some of these games, because you've got a hierarchy that you're getting feedback probably off the developers, and you don't want to listen to the people who are actually on the ground doing the groundwork to make this game, because it feels like, for me, the story is interesting. I'm interested to know the lore and the world, but it feels like they're missing cutscenes, or they're missing how the connection was at the start of the game to then how you get into the open world. It's very, very weird, because as it goes on to say here, the reviews describe a story that lacks cohesion. Quests may seem random and disconnected from the narrative. It's not a shock to Pearl Abyss developers, one explaining that the plot wasn't decided until just before the title's release date, which is absolutely nuts. Blind is a social network where employees share their insights about companies, while users must verify their identities. It's wise to treat the Korean developers' comments as rumors rather than facts. But suppose, well, you know, all I was saying is that this might not be true, but this is what they were saying. So they go on to say on Reddit is that the original story evolved around a dethroned young king. Someone translated as prime minister came to his aid before betraying the hero. The rest of the drama unfolds as the protagonist seeks to prevent the traitor from taking power. So before realizing this concept, a director felt pressure to leave his position. So we had someone who was high up leave. The new general manager scrapped the narrative, but was acting as compliant subordinate. That's a pattern at the company confirmed by a second developer. Leaders dominated a structure that discouraged any resistance. And that is ridiculous. It's like where we're going in the industry with some of these developers. It's like, they're so scared. Now, I'm not just saying here, but some companies are so scared of offending people, and then they complain, or feeling like it's aggressive or anything like that. Where are the days where you just say it how it is, and then you can end up coming out the other side and making a better product? So it's claimed that the individuals recognized the development was going off the rails instead of creating a unique gameplay. And this is what's nuts, that there are so many features and gameplay mechanics in this game that reminded me of Tears of the Kingdom. And what they say is nuts, because it was encouraged to imitate successes like Tears of the Kingdom. The second link could describe how the game became a hodgepodge of features crammed together. And the review highlights convoluted controls, which the developer believes is a consequence of this approach. So they used to just look at other games and thought, screw it, put it in, which there's a lot of mechanics in this game, which is amazing. But it begs the question, by the end of the game, when I complete it, would I be like, they put a bit too much? I'm not sure. But the studio stock tumbled from a lukewarm Metacritic. That said, it's unfair to call the title a global failure, given that it sold 2 million copies within 24 hours of release. So I think it's just a cool insight to see the developers, what they said, and this is the reality of like AAA gaming. It's a very weird release for this game, but for me, I think it's only going to go from strength to strength. I think this is one of my favorite games of this year. Could be in my top 5 for sure. I think it just lacks a couple of things, lack it in terms of bugs, only the ones I mentioned, but also that story that just seems like it's missing at the start of the game. Now, a lot of people have said as you go along in the game, it gets better and better. So I'm going to have to wait and see. But I'm so immersed in the open world and the lore. I want to know more about this world that I'm just having such a blast with this game. But it's crazy to think that, you know, I know there's some people that do not like the game, and that's totally fine. I had someone on this channel said that, you know what, how can you find this fun? I saw you struggling for like an hour on a puzzle. And you have to remember, for me, I came from a generation where we didn't have walkthroughs, we didn't have the internet. And I remember me and my friend playing certain games when we were younger. And if we didn't know how to progress the game, we would keep trying until we did. And I can't remember what game, but we would spend probably 2-3 hours, it felt like, doing a certain bit or trying to figure out what to freaking do. But then when you do it, it feels so rewarding. And for me personally, I love those sort of games. So even though I'm struggling, I will figure it out 100%. And that's the problem I feel like with gaming. We've got the next generation. We've got Sony looking at AI. If you're struggling on the game, they're going to help you. And I'm just like, what is the even point in playing games if you're just going to get the AI. It's like you're catering for everyone, but I feel like I'm not just going to say the younger generation. They're so used to playing games that are very quick, that doesn't turn their attention span off very quickly, and they need those sort of live service Fortnite, which gives them that instant dopamine. But for me, I love struggling in the game because eventually I will figure it out. Don't get me wrong, it gets frustrating, but that's the whole love of the game. So for me, Crimson Desert is looking very positive for the future. It's a very weird launch, but I want to hear your thoughts about the latest news on the AI, about the developers, about the game. Will you be buying it? Have you been sold on it? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know.